Hello and welcome to an all-new DC Cast, Explosion Network's hub for all discussing all things DC Comics related. A place to talk about everything happening in Metropolis, Gotham, and beyond. I'm your host, Ash Lobley, and joining me today is Dylan Blight.
Somebody save me.
Yes, what an iconic song. Today, we're going back to our childhoods because we're talking about one of the iconic Superman TV shows, Smallville. Do you know if you watched this? So we're talking about the pilot and the second episode. Do you remember if you saw this when it came out, or like was it my?
Yeah, so it was heavily advertised. I remember I don't remember what channel it was airing on here in Australia, but it did air on a normal free to air channel. That's got the rights to it because they were advertising the fuck out of it. And I remember we had gone to a family trip. I think I was in grade 7, maybe. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sounds about right. So family trip to Brisbane, and was in a hotel the night that this was playing. So me and my brother were sleeping on like bunk beds, and parents were like in the double bed in the room or whatever. And because it was so like heavily advertised and big thing, we all made sure to tune on and watch it that night in the hotel room.
Yeah, I definitely recall seeing it when it first came out. Like it's a burnt-in memory. Yeah, because it was so heavily,
they were definitely making a big deal about it. Yeah.
Okay. I have a feeling it was Channel 9, but it could have been Channel 10. Right. I mean, Channel 10 would have made more thematic sense, or fit with the show, I guess, a little bit more. But yeah, let's dive in. Please be aware we'll be fully discussing anything and everything about plot themes and any of the show. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. With that said, let's talk about Smallville.
Lonnie, you ever feel like your life was supposed to be something different?
After the accident, I didn't see a dead end. I saw a new beginning.
Just because everyone else chooses to ignore the strange things that happen in this leafy little hamlet doesn't mean that they don't happen.
How about this? Is this normal?
Do you believe a man can fly?
People can't fly, Lex.
I did.
We all keep secrets, Clark.
Help me.
The WB presents Smallville.
Created by Alfred Gough and Miles Millar, starring Tom Welling, Kristin Kreuk, Michael Rosenbaum, Eric Johnson, Sam Jones III, Allison Mack, Annette O'Toole, and John Schneider. Of course, we're talking about the pilot. Directed by David Nutter and written by Alfred Gough and Miles Millar. And then also Metamorphosis, directed by Michaela Watkins and Philip Squircher, and also written by Alfred Gough and Miles Millar. Dylan, what was the last time that you watched Smallville?
No, not since when it finished, 2011.
Not since the finale came out. Same,
to be honest.
So, what was it like revisiting the show?
I felt fine with it. Very comfortable. I mean, this is at 10 seasons and 22, 23, 22, episode seasons. It's definitely the longest show I've ever seen from start to finish. Mm-hmm. So I've spent a lot of time with these characters in this world and stuff, and I feel very, very, very at home clicking play on this first episode again. And I had a good time watching it. I watched the second episode. I had a good time watching it, and it definitely felt like the kind of show I could just happily keep watching while do it. Like a very multitasking sort of show that would feel comfortable to have on in the background for me, to be completely honest. So.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed revisiting the show. Obviously, it is very of its time, I guess, and very teeny and small scale. It's kind of like dropped at a very odd time.
You're calling it teeny and small,
like compared to what we'd expect from this genre of show now. Very small stakes. But the small stakes are small people. more people.
Smallville.
A big to them, so. Also, just very interesting to see a lot of these characters again, at this stage of the story, I don't think I'd gone back and watched the pilot for even years before.
I mean,
I'll say
maybe the most, I don't know if this is considered controversial. Tom Welling's my favorite Clark Kent.
I don't know if that is controversial.
I know it's also the thing of he gets 10 seasons. He gets so many hours.
Yeah, he got 216 episodes or something like that.
To earn that. So,
yeah.
But I mean, that's this version of Clark, I'm very
attached to,
and it's very, very attached to, and the teen romancy stuff of it, and his friendship group, and just the way that Tom Welling portrays all of that, the above, his constant want for Lana over every single fucking episode for the next several years, is all part of that, and that's the version of Clark I quite enjoy. So he just lands the small town farm boy vibe so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of quick synopsises, I guess, for each episode from Wikipedia. In October 1989, a meteor shower hits Smallville, and with it arrives a small boy. The child is adopted by Martha and Jonathan Kent, and they name him Clark. I'm going to admit something which might make me a bad person. When the meteor hit Lana's parents, I laughed.
It is funny they do get out of the car. They're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And
it just hits them straight on.
Yeah, no one else around. They're just yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah,
so I'm a bad person. But yeah, I think obviously
I do like this. I do like the whole meteor storm affecting Smallville thing though.
Well, I read somewhere else that it kind of fills in this plot hole, I guess, of why did they not try and find out about this alien spaceship that had dropped?
If it's just one thing.
When it was just one thing, but because it was a part of the whole planet, coming, all parts of Krypton coming to the same place,
which actually makes more sense.
It also makes more sense why there's a bunch of kryptonite and it's constantly being found by people to use against Superman.
Because even if he was coming down in a large thing, right, and all the rock around him or the other parts that traveled with him would break off and splinter in the atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a cool visual, and also sets up pretty much the Monster of the Week theme of the show for the first several seasons of
fucking sets.
Kryptonite's behind everything. Kryptonite's the worst thing, and it affects everybody. Yeah. As we'll talk about in the second episode. Also, the setup of Lex in this episode, the start of this kid just running around town, the cornfields, getting lost, bold. And just this meteor storm just makes him go bald. Yeah,
which is fair because he had a shitty haircut. So
wow, he was just a redhead. There was nothing else.
That was the problem, I think.
Some would say. That was the cause of all his problems. Yes, they spent 10 seasons exploring why Lex being a redhead was the core issue of all his trauma.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 12 years later, Clark struggles to understand his identity. After Clark saves Lex Luthor's life after Lex drives his Porsche off a bridge, the two become fast friends. Very odd. The idea of him hitting him with a car, and then that's your meet cute,
Very much so.
I also found it interesting that I guess is the first time that Clark realized he's invulnerable.
Yeah, it is. That's his whole. He points out to his dad.
At no point ever, he's like, it's kind of weird that I've never bled before.
I don't know. You'd have to hurt yourself, I guess.
No, but they already. At some sort of point, they've established he's super strong.
Yeah,
it's a known thing. So he's not allowed to play football.
Yeah, no. I guess there's a difference between you can't cut myself, and if a car hits me at 80 miles an hour, it doesn't hurt me. It's one extreme to another a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Michael Rosenbaum, I really, really enjoy his Lex.
Oh yeah, Michael Rosenbaum. I mean, some would say he's the definitive Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I mean, he's very good. I think.
Okay.
Over the years, the thing is, he makes you like him as Lex, and then you don't. It's really good. So
it goes in waves throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
You start to like him again, and then he'll do something. And I mean, that's kind of the core relationship.
Especially like, I guess like if we're just focusing on the pilot, and then the first episode, or the second episode, whatever. For these 2 episodes, you like him in these 2 episodes. Is the thing. Like,
yeah. There's nothing off about him at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the interesting thing about this prequel series, is we know where they're going to end up. We know that Clark isn't going to get with Lana. He isn't going to end up with Lana. We know that their friendship is not going to last. That kind of stuff. So that's kind of the weird ongoing tension, I guess, without going throughout the show. So, after sharing an intimate moment with Lana Lang, Clark is forced into a school hazing ritual led by Lana's jealous boyfriend, Whitney Fordman. Understandable, being jealous.
It's always the jocks.
I guess this article jumps over the fact that Lana is wearing a kryptonite necklace. It is a little weird. She's keeping the necklace from the meteor that killed her parents. But not as weird as Clark being a voyeur every single night.
Yeah.
Staring at her neighbor from afar, you know.
I was like, let's yeah. He's the one literally spying on us, so yeah.
Yeah, the supervision hasn't kicked in yet. Still needs a telescope. And then creeping around the graveyard, it's like, this is meant to be super romantic. And Lana, like, falling for him very quickly. It's very odd. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just that, like, his charming side comes across when he does the whole, what's that? You want me to?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah.
One dead parents, it helps every time. Meanwhile, Jeremy Kreuk, a teenage boy who was left in a coma after the first meteor shower, wakes up and sets out to get revenge on those who hurt him. Pretty much everyone going to the homecoming dance. Afterwards, he prepares to do the same to the rest of the Smallville students, but Clark arrives in time to stop him, miraculously shocking him into forgetting all his memories from his murder spree.
Yeah, I mean,
what a resolution.
This guy, whatever, it's like it's a very I think simple way to introduce what will become the monster of the week with the kryptonite, how it affects people and stuff, and like they, instead of going for like a wild powered one, which they're like, let's do fucking crazy insect person the next week, they're like, let's just do like, oh, he has an agent, he's got electric powers, which in the scheme of things is relatively simple, you know. But yeah, it also allows them to set up the, I guess, iconic image of
Clark on Scarecrow with the S painted on his chest.
Yeah.
With kryptonite necklace, which gets lost and Lex finds and utilizes in the next episode. Kind of skips over, obviously, the introduction of Chloe and his friend.
Sam
Pete.
Jones the Third is the actor's name.
Chloe and Pete, who clearly Pete's got a thing for Chloe, but Chloe's got a thing for Clark. And then they also introduced the Wall of Weird, which is all the weird things that have happened in Smallville since the meteor shower that nobody ever talks about and is never explained. Again, setting up pretty much what the show's going to be every single week. And also establishing that Peter is a very forgettable character and doesn't really do anything in the show.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
So that's the pilot. Great episode. Goods. Pretty solid pilot. Pilots are a bit iffy sometimes. So
yeah.
Then we're introduced to the second episode, Metamorphosis, where Greg Arkin gets into a car accident with his meteor rock enhanced insects, which escape from their containers and begin stinging him. The resulting attack transforming him into a half-man, half-insect creature. Rapidly going through Metamorphosis, Greg kidnaps Lana so he can mate with her. Again, kind of weird.
Very weird, but he's a bad guy,
Everybody's all about Lana,
Yeah. She's only getting town. I haven't seen any other women.
Chloe.
Who?
Good Clark impression. No, it's his friend. He doesn't see gender. I mean, some solid effects and kind of stuff. And like, I mean, this episode like kind of reinforces, or Clark is finally introduced to the fact that this meteorite is bad for him, and is what is the reason he couldn't get close to Lana in the first place, and it can be stopped by lead. Also, we established that Lex has a massive house. I think we did last episode when he returns the truck.
Oh, you
That
don't see
his dad
inside,
won't
though.
keep.
Like, this is the first episode you see inside. He has a
Yeah,
fucking
when he's fencing and that. So
yeah, fencing and stuff.
but I feel like that they also established that there's no anybody can just walk in. Apparently, the bars in the fence are not that close together. That needs to be something that was fixed in the show. Never got around to it. But yeah, we see Lex kind of being this mentor figure, like Big Brother type, trying to help wingman, trying to help Clark get Lana. Lex explaining to Lana, you know, where was Whitney? What was he doing? You know, before the dance. You know, I know, little dick. But yeah, again, Lex being reasonably likable. You know, even when he said it turns out he was skinny dipping some girl in a pool, it's like, good for you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, in the scheme of things, forgivable.
Forgivable, yes. After talking with Whitney, Clark realizes where Greg has taken Lana and leaves to rescue her. During the fight, Greg accidentally crushes himself under the mechanical equipment, resulting in a massive insects flooding out from underneath. Before Clark can return to Lana, Whitney arrives and receives credit for her rescue. Kind of the theme and running thing that happens in all these episodes, you know. Clark not quite be able to get a girl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You gotta
At least his first season, you know.
Just string along.
Can't let them get together too quickly, you know.
No.
So, yeah.
Also, I do like how this show manages to tie in kryptonite so heavily to everything in Smallville, but also to, you know, all the villains, and then it gives it every week gives, especially if they're kryptonite infused villains and whatever else, it always means there's an element of they can fight back, or that there's always something that, you know, in a because it's always that argument of how do you do a Superman show?
Superman show is too strong. Yeah,
he's too strong. It's like, okay, well, everyone's got kryptonite. Like,
yeah. I also, it's very funny knowing the obviously famous no tights, no flying rule. He's literally floating in the first start of this second episode.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Accidental. Like,
floating's not flying, you know?
Yeah.
That's why there's two different words.
They also do the great slowdown section where Jonathan got knocked off the top of the barn, is about to fall on the very sharp rotor blades that we usually see him set up earlier, only for Clark to fall in front of him instead. So, anything else you want to discuss from these couple of episodes that we've revisited of Smallville?
No, I think it was a very enjoyable time to do it. You know, actually, I was thinking as I was talking, the last time I watched anything to do with Smallville was that Crisis on Infinite Earth's Arrowverse episode.
Yeah,
that would be the last
the scene
thing.
The scene where Tom Welling talks to Lex Luthor about giving up his powers, and Lex Luthor is played by John Cryer.
Don't remember that, but I remember them being on the farm and talking about having kids and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah,
I don't know how I have such picky memories of this.
He was so embodying Lex, you didn't see John Cryer, I guess.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I remember that there's definitely a scene on the farm, though, right? There was a scene on the Kent farm. Yeah, I remember that very much so. Yeah.
Dylan, question without notice. Who's your favorite character that got showcased in the show, who was not part of the main cast?
Main cast, not part of the main cast. I'd say it's John Glover.
I would count him as part of the main cast.
He's not though. He's
what
like,
DC character who showed up in Smallville was your favorite?
What DC character that showed up in Smallville? Like the whole show?
Yes,
the
except
whole
for the
show?
main cast.
But how about if they were not main cast for several seasons, then main cast in other seasons? You're making this hard.
You're really you're like Lois Lane.
I'm just
no.
No. I was going to say Oliver Queen.
Okay.
I enjoyed
Justin
Hartley. Yeah, I enjoyed Oliver Queen in this show, who is he's for several seasons a supporting person.
Mm-hmm.
I think in last 2 seasons or last season, whatever. He
Could be, yeah.
around like he becomes he's in the opening credits, like part of the main cast, but until then he's supporting. And I mean that initial. Like what? How many seasons in? We're 4 or 5 until we get that when they do that little semi Justice League episode. You have that badass shot of them all.
I believe
6,
yes.
Is it? Yeah. I remember when that happened. I was like, "Fucking, this is the shit," you know. And I really enjoy Justin. And the thing is, Justin Hartley's Oliver Queen is a lot different to Stephen Amell's, and I appreciate that they're so different. You know,
yeah.
He's just more smart ass, billionaire, quippy guy, and
it seems like he's got a lot less trauma.
Yeah, Stephen Amell's. I wish I was Batman.
Yeah. I would say I really enjoyed Bart and just the playful energy in comparison to Clark. I'm also a big fan of the Legion of Superheroes. So them coming from the future to come see him in the present. That was a cool cameo.
Booster Gold?
I forgot Booster Gold was in.
Booster Gold is in this for at least 1 or 2 episodes or something.
Yeah, like I went through a list. There's a list of like top 50 episodes of Smallville. It's like there's a bunch of characters who showed up
in this show. Yeah,
I'm like, maybe I should just pick and choose some episodes to go back and revisit.
This has always been. There's a list of shows that I'm like, I would love to do if time was like a thing that had more infinite resources. Smallville's on that list of shows I'd love to do a full. Rewatch.
Listen, if you want us to do a Smallville series on this podcast feed, maybe a season a year, let us know. Because it could happen.
Driven solely out of nostalgia, to be honest, but
yeah, absolutely. All right, please let us know what you think of Smallville. Do we need to revisit it? Is it the best Clark? Is Tom Welling the best Clark? Is Michael Rosenbaum the best Lex Luthor? Let us know on bluesky@explosionnetwork.com or find us on other social media @ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, if you want to help us out here at All New DC Cast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, anyone 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you join us next time for another All New DC Cast.